morning. I like to record these on Saturday mornings when I have a chance. So it's just me. Hi, welcome back to my channel, AlliRambles. I'm gonna be doing a ramble video today because I think those are fun for me to just kind of talk to you. I hope that's fun for you too. Probably also weird, but you know, get used to it if you're gonna stick around these parts. So today, something that's been on my mind a lot that I kind of want to talk about was goals and obstacles. So, as I think I've mentioned, I got to go to our 31 conference this past July. It was my first time going. It was the 15-year anniversary, so it was a big to-do, tailgating and pink confetti as far as the eye can see. I think there were about 12,000 women there, which is wild, and it was a really amazing and very eye-opening experience. Mostly good eye-opening, but some kind of like, you know, turns out I'm not great at crowds. Not from a shy perspective, obviously, if you have met me in any capacity, but just in a getting overwhelmed capacity. It was kind of like, quite a bit, more than I expected. So now I know that about myself. But I feel like I really learned a lot about me, for better or worse. And one of the things that really struck me, that I've been trying to stay focused on since I got back. I've been trying to not let this flitter off into ADD cloud with all the other squirrels and chickens and just, you know, random thoughts. We were sitting in one of the general sessions and somebody was talking about having earned our leadership incentive trip. They do this every year, and it's what it sounds like. It's an incentive trip for leaders to, you know, depending on your sales and your journey and your team and all these different things, you can earn a free trip. And there's usually levels. Sometimes it's a trip for one, sometimes it's a trip for two, sometimes it's a fancy trip for two with extra bonus stuff. You know, there's all these different levels. And I've always been aware of it and kind of just checked to see what the requirements were, but I've never really pursued it for a number of reasons, some of them logical and some of them not. But I was sitting there in this session, taking notes in my really cute little notebook and doodling occasionally. And this woman listed out the things you had to have or do in order to earn the trip this coming year. And literally the thought that popped into my head was, well, I could do that, but I'm not gonna. Excuse me? What? I had the thought, and then I literally like dropped my pen and was like, I'm sorry, rewind that. So, self, you're saying you could, in fact, achieve this amazing free trip to like Hawaii or wherever with your spouse and get this free all-inclusive vacation, but we're not gonna. Why though? Why though? And I don't think I heard anything else that whole session because I spent the whole time just kind of like introspective, like why did I casually think that I could? And then why did I casually insist that it wasn't worth trying? And y'all, later this evening when I'd had many too many beverages, I replayed this point and sang this song ad nauseum to anyone who'd sit still. But you'll get the short, sober version of this conversation. I don't know if any of you have ever watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the television show that is, I really hate the title. It took me, the first season had ended before I ever watched an episode of it because the title made me angry. I was like, I don't need another media representation of how women who lose men just become crazy obsessed losers, but I don't need that. So the title was a little misleading. It's so good. It's the most amazing show. Rachel Bloom and Aline McBrenna, I'm pronouncing it wrong and I'm ashamed. Anyway, look them up, it's great. Have created this amazing show. There's original songs in it, so hello, theater nerd, love it. And there's a character in the first couple of seasons, specifically in the first season, named Greg, And there's a scene where he's a bartender and he's always talking about how he could be doing bigger and better things. And how, he got accepted to this really great school. He tells anyone who'll listen, but he couldn't go because he was taking care of his father. And someone convinced him to do like night classes, like to take some classes while he was here. It's not the great, amazing school he's always talking about, but it's classes. So he does. And he's sitting in class one day and he's waiting for I said this was going to be the short version. That was a lie. Waiting for like tests or papers to come back. And he's talking to the person next to him about how easy this all was. And he could tutor them if they want, if they need any help. And she's like, no, I'm good. And he gets his assignment back and it's got like a C or a D on it. And he's like, excuse me? I don't understand because I aced this. And the teacher's like, you didn't though. As you can see from these marks here. And he gets real uppity and is like, oh, so you teach at a community college, you think you're so smart, great, cool. And he leaves like a jerk. And he sings this song that I don't know how much I'm legally allowed to sing without somebody being like, pay us, please. But the whole concept of the song is he's like, whoop-de friggin' do an A. I can make an A if I wanted to. I could make an A if I wanted to, but I don't. But I could, but I don't. But I could if I wanted to, yeah. And it's just this whole song about, I could achieve all these great things if I bothered to like work for them, but who wants to work for stuff? That's lame. I'm just gonna, no. I mean, I could, but I won't. This whole song about that. And for the rest of the conference weekend, it was just playing in my head. This song, I could, but I won't. Why? Why would I have an inflated sense of self? That's a whole other topic for a much longer video, probably with something much stronger than coffee. An inflated sense of self, yet also no drive to hold myself accountable to it or to prove it. And I get it. I have the kind of sassy confidence where it's like, I don't have to prove to you that I'm great because I know that I'm great. Humility is also one of my strong suits. But I should want to prove it to myself sometimes, don't you think? And so this whole weekend, don't be Greg was just running through my head and my mouth, apparently. I said it a lot that weekend, I think. You can ask the other ladies. It was on my mind a lot. Don't be Greg. Don't be Greg. If I believe I can do a thing, then I should do the thing. And so I've been thinking, I don't know that the trip is a thing I need to specifically target. I don't know that that's a fair or realistic goal for who I am right now in my business. So perhaps I can rethink that part of the statement. But just the idea of I need to be willing and able to set goals and then work for them. Recently, on Twitter, there was a hashtag trending called Share Your Rejection. I don't know what started it because I missed the beginning of it. I just saw some of the famous people that I follow jumping on board with it later in the trend. And Rachel Bloom, a co-creator of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, told a story about how the day she graduated with her like musical program, that morning she went and auditioned for a couple of things, and those people told her, they're like, yeah, you're not ever going to be successful in this business. And then she went home and put on her cap and gown and went and walked the stage like, yay, you know. And I saw that tweet and I thought, oh, okay, well, you know, it's good to know that people I deem successful also frequently failed. I mean, instinctively we all know this, but it's good to be reminded. Well, later I saw it again, but this time it was a thread. And she had written out all the stuff. She goes, I want to make something very clear. The auditions I went to that morning, I hadn't prepared for them at all. At all. I hadn't done any of the work to be prepared for those auditions. I just showed up and did it and got told that that wasn't good enough. And she's right. And she goes on to talk about how she recognized in herself a pattern of when she really wanted a thing, not trying very hard for it. Because if you just try a little and you fail, well, then you can say, oh, well, you know, I didn't try very hard. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. Wonder where she got the idea for that song from. And then she said, you know, it's very scary to chase something that you really want and work really hard, because then if you lose it, it's devastating. But you got to do it. I mean, it's character building, and also, you know, oh my dear, what if you fly? And it's such an interesting concept of like acknowledging in yourself that you're not chasing the things you want because you are preemptively protecting yourself from the pain of not getting them. There's a whole lot of layers to unpack there, my friend, and I suggest you do. It's a good way to spend some spare time, is really kind of introspection. Which brings me to you heard of this book? People have been telling me about this book for months and months and months. Well over a year, I think. I don't know when it was published, but I know that it was months and months and months ago that I bought it. I finally bought it. It was like, okay, fine, everyone, great book, I'll read it. Even though I don't read as much as I'd like to anymore. So I bought it, and I put it down, and I walked away, and it gathered dust. And in the past 3 weeks, I have heard people talking about it nonstop. Her film just came out. You could go and watch her speak at several local theaters. I know a bunch of girls went and did that in groups. I've heard people talking about her live videos that she does online and how inspiring they are, and I thought, okay, fine, I've got the book. I'll read the book. So I crack it open this morning, and I think I've read maybe 3 pages while I was having my coffee, getting ready to record this. And in those 3 pages, I was already just shook. Yo, I'm going to read you a quote. I already knew I was going to talk about Don't Be Greg today. Okay? That was already on the docket. Let me read you what I read this morning. I hope she doesn't mind me reading this passage. I have a feeling she won't mind it at all. A caterpillar is awesome. But if the caterpillar stopped there, if she just decided that good is good enough, we would all miss out on the beautiful creature she would become. I mean, yeah. I've been read, y'all. I read that and I just stared at it like, oh, okay, so someone just came into my home and handed me a little gem of wisdom exactly when I needed it. I mean, y'all, the universe is funny. Don't you think? Okay, so all that to say, I won't speak for you, but for me, I need to be better about setting bold goals for myself, working my butt off to get them, and accepting the fact that I often won't. I'm gonna fail. I may fail, but I'm not a failure. Another little gem I heard last night as a parody to the Killers song. I might fail, but I'm not a failure. Stuck in my head. This is buzzing around in my head, y'all, this whole topic. I'm going to read the rest of this book because 3 pages is not enough. I now have to read the whole thing immediately. But I just really want to impart to you. First of all, sometimes the universe whispers to you. Sometimes it screams. And sometimes it hands you a weird YouTube video of some weird blonde with no makeup on drinking coffee out of an I woke up like this mug. Hi, that's me. I'm talking about me. Again, if you've got a big goal on your mind, on your heart, and you're brushing it off, acting like you don't really want it, or thinking, oh, there's no way. Go for it. Just do it. Ugh, I Nike'd. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean like just do it, but like don't be Greg. I mean, it sounds so silly, but maybe it doesn't sound silly to you. Maybe that shook you as hard as it shook me. I don't know your life, but don't get in your own way. You're gonna fail sometimes. That's okay. That makes better stories. You know, there's games you can play where when you fail at something, you get an experience point. I like to think of it that way. You're gonna fail in life and it's gonna suck, but you get something from it. You gain an experience point. And later, you can cash in those experience points to level up. Think about that. Yeah. Deep in the noggin. Think about that. Set a value to failure so that it's not as scary. And find someone who will help you chase your dream in a way that's not scary and mean. I'm not talking about, well, you know what? I won't speak for you. Some people need a friend who will call and say, did you get off your butt and do the thing? Come on. I know you're awesome. Act like it. Whereas other people need the friend who's like, hi, I just want to check in and see if you're following your dreams today. I mean, whatever you need, find it. Because they're out there. There are people in your life, or there could be. Maybe you don't know who they are now, but you could find someone who will help you to be accountable in a way that is supportive. Do it. What you waiting for? Don't be Greg. All right. AlliRambles out.